Hello, my wonderful family. How are we all doing, and how's the coronavirus treating us and everything, especially this pandemic and everything? I hope we're all coping and staying indoors and staying safe. So, a couple of friends of mine told me that I should go into more details on my pregnancy and everything leading me down to being a single mother and everything. So I decided to do everything brief. So let me start when I first found out I was pregnant. I'll say I didn't really know I was pregnant. I just knew that I was feeling off in my body. My body wasn't sitting right with me. I was feeling irritated unnecessarily. Everything was just wrong with me. And then a friend of mine, a very good friend of mine, was always around because I just came back from school. Then I was on hold, and she told me that okay, fine, like she noticed some things I didn't want to believe, but we ended up getting the pregnancy tests, and I was pregnant. Like I was positive, I was scared and everything. I didn't know what to do. The only thing that I knew I was gonna do was that I was gonna leave home immediately. Like I didn't even want to stay a second at home, because if my parents had noticed it, I just didn't want to see their reaction face to face. First of all, like I don't know how it will sit well with them. So I had to like give an excuse and lie that we had resumed, and then I went back to school. But before getting back to school, I called my roommate and I told her I was coming back early, and she said fine. She was gonna be in school before me because where she stays is not like it's not that far from our school. So when I got back to school, I remember seeing my roommate, and she like kind of like laughed, and then she was not happy at the same time. But the laughter was laughter of I knew you were pregnant, but if I had told you, I know the way you would have reacted. So she didn't want to say nothing. But the sadness was like, how am I gonna, like, how do I want to handle my situation right now? And that, do I want to keep the baby or do I want to abort? And I was like, I'm not doing abortion because I don't know, I'm so scared of that. And I'm not really a huge fan. Not that I'm criticizing anyone out there, but I'm just saying that this is my own decision. Everyone has what they decide and how they feel. They want to handle things in their life. So the next step for us was to call my baby daddy, of which I was scared. I was terrified. I didn't know where to start from. The only thing I just knew was that he needed to know what's up with me because this is our baby. And I remember calling him, and then he was like excited on the phone, and he was like, wow, seriously? Okay, fine. Like, okay, when I get back, we're going to talk more about it. That was how his expression was. He didn't really give me this expression of, oh, I don't want the child or something. No. The only thing he just asked me was, do you want to keep the baby or do you want to abort? I was like, I want to keep it. And he was like, okay, it's fine by him. So I was very happy. And then I was kind of sad again because I was like, okay, fine. Now I have to call my parents. I remember calling my mom. I wasn't the one that called. All the things I'm telling you, I couldn't even pick up the phone to call nobody because I was scared. So it was my roommate who would call and then put it on speaker, and then I would listen. That was how terrified I was of everyone, like calling everyone around me. So she called my mom first because I was like, it's like to get to my dad, you have to get through my mom. And I think it's like general for everybody out there. So I called my mom, and I remember she told me she was in the grotto because we're Catholic, so she was praying. And then she told her, and my mom was like, I'm gonna call you back. And I don't really know sometimes the expression of my mom, because sometimes she might sound somehow, and to you it might look like she's sad, but she might be happy. I don't know, but I just knew that the tone was a tone of like sadness, bitterness, and everything. And like she was disappointed, but there was really nothing I could do about it because this is it. And I was scared because I thought she was never gonna call me back, or I thought she was gonna call me back and like throw shades at me. But luckily for me, she called back and she demanded to speak with me. Like she told my roommate I want to speak with her, and my mom was like, she scolded me. Trust me, like she was all talking. Like she was just complaining. This is not why I sent you to school. Is this how you want to end your life? Blah 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 blah. And I was like, I'm sorry. And she was like, I hope you're not thinking of abortion. And I was like, nope, I want to kill this baby. And I was kind of shocked because, some mothers, I'm not saying, I'm not judging, but some mothers might like, to protect a family's name, especially if your family is like well known or they know your father a lot, of which my father, where I come from, my father is like really well known because he's like a catechist in a Catholic church that was then. So my mom wasn't even expressing that kind of like, I'm gonna cover your father's ass or something. She was like, we're gonna keep this baby. So the next person I wanted to talk to was my father, of which I can't remember talking with my dad like on phone because my roommate was the one that did that and my baby father was the one that did that when he came back. But I can tell you that throughout that period, that was the most frightful period for me because the only thing that made me not to be scared that much was that the fact that I had people around me. My roommate was like the best person around me. She was like a huge pillar. I used to call her my mom in school. She was always protecting over me and making sure that I was good and everything was okay with me. So I overcame that fear like being there, people were around me. And then when my baby father came back, he responded very well to me. He didn't like throw shit at me or anything. The only thing that was there was that it was visible that he wasn't really that happy because he told me that he wasn't really ready yet for a child, but since this is it, there's nothing anyone can do. And that was it. That was the only time and that was the only way he reacted, but every other way was a very positive way, of which at that point in time I really needed positivity around me because I was kind of negative and I was toxic to my own self. Like I treated myself like crap. I remember I couldn't even go to the salon. I didn't even want to make myself look good. I was always depressed. I was always feeling like the world was all over for me, and which is normal, but I would say it kind of like demoralized me because I kind of like went to a dark place for a really long time. I was in a dark place for a really long time. I was facing total depression, of which I put myself in. I remember when I went to the pharmacist and I got some pills. I didn't even tell the guy. I just told the guy I had cramps and that. And then he just gave me some drugs. And I remember I'll take it. And twice my roommate would just come and be like, do you want to kill yourself or this child? And I was like, I think I really just want to kill this child. And she was like, no, we don't want that. She was really, really supportive and everything. So then I drew closer to God. I remember at one point in time, I had to tell myself that forget all these things. You're not the first person that has a child out of wedlock and people are surviving out there. So just take it as your cross and then just live on. And then I became close to God, something of which I wasn't even that close to God for a long time. I started going to church. I started praying more and everything. I started being close to God and everything. And then I became so secluded. I was kind of always wanting to be on my own. But people around me always wanted me to move out because me staying at home is demoralizing. So I'm going to tell you as a first timer, if you're going through that shit, don't ever try to stay home on your own because they say the devil, an idle mind is the devil's workshop, and that's where he's gonna be. If you stay at home when you're feeling depressed, all alone, things are gonna come to your brain, to your head. It's gonna make you do things you would never dream of doing before, even wanting to commit suicide. That was how I felt. So you're gonna be in this dark hole of which you trust me, you don't want to be there. That's the last place on earth you want to be. So that's what I want to drop for today, my first experience and my first fears. The next videos is gonna be the discussion about from me about my baby dad, and I'm gonna tell you it's a long and heartful discussion, but something that I know that two or three girls or many girls could learn from it.